Now the postponement of Computex 2020 unfortunately meant AMD had to push the planned unveiling of the Zen 3 architecture and the 4th Gen Ryzen a slight bit, but there is good news here, we shouldn't have to wait that long. It turns out that reports coming in from Digitime suggest that AMD is planning for a September launch. We are also getting reports suggesting that the performance increase over Zen 2 and the Ryzen 3000 series may not be as massive as we first thought it would be. But let's take a look at everything you need to know about 4th Gen Ryzen for desktop. Hey, what is up guys, welcome to Arbin Hardware. My name is Robin, I'm your Swedish host and friend with bad posture and poor accent. And with AMD's recent launch of 4th Gen Ryzen for laptops came some questions. What about new Ryzen for desktop? Well, first and foremost, just to be clear, despite the name 4th Gen Ryzen for laptop is still utilizing the Zen 2 architecture, which is used in the 3rd Gen Ryzen for desktop, and that is because the APUs or the mobile segment is lagging a bit behind the desktop platform. And I know guys, the whole thing is a little bit confusing, but what you need to know is that Ryzen 4000 for desktop is bringing a whole new architecture called Zen 3 with significant performance improvements. Now Digitimes is now getting reports from motherboard vendors suggesting that AMD is planning to unveil the 4th Gen Ryzen, also known as Vermeer, in September, and Tom's Hardware was one of the first to pick up on this. And again, AMD's initial plan was to show these processors at Computex in 2020, which was supposed to take place in early June, but then later got postponed to the end of September this year due to the current situation that is happening in the world right now. And again, according to the report, Ryzen 4000 series for desktop will be available to purchase around the world sometimes shortly after the announcement, sometimes in September, which means in September this year we should have the new processors in our hands. But the big news with Ryzen 4000 Vermeer is the architecture called Zen 3, and according to AMD, Zen 3 will deliver a double-digit percentage increase in performance at a given clock frequency or IPC, and at the same time the manufacturing will be based on an improved 7nm technology from TSMC with higher transistor density, better energy efficiency, and even better potential for higher clock frequencies. And according to AMD, we were told with Zen 3 we would see double-digit performance increase, but a recent leak from an insider has told Adore TV that the performance increase may not be as massive as we first thought it would be. And first of all, it is mentioned that Zen 3 will include a single CCX consisting of 8 cores. And what the heck is a CCX? Well, let's take a deep breath here. To be able to explain how all of this works, I'm gonna have to be a little bit more technical, so please bear with me here. Now, in order to fully understand how Zen 3 works, here's a few things we need to understand. A CCX is a term used in AMD CPUs and stands for CPU complex or core complex. It refers to a group of 4 CPU cores and their CPU caches. We got L3, L2 and L3, and AMD's Infinity Fabric connects multiple CCXs together and ultimately create the Ryzen processor. And each CPU built on these architectures uses CCX clusters, and for the Ryzen 3000 series processors, CCX refers to a 4-core grouping inside of each core chiplet die, which is also called CCD for short. And so, for example, an AMD CPU with 8 cores, let's say the 3700X, will have a CCD with 2 4-core CCXs. And here's a picture of the Ryzen Threadripper CPU with 2 dies, and as you can see, each die has 2 CCX for a total of 16 cores. Until now, Zen and Zen 2 had 2 core complex on the same die with each CCX consisting of 4 cores. Even the 6-core Ryzen 3600 has 2 CCXs, however 1 core in each CCX is disabled, and this is a common practice in CPU binning. But with Zen 3, each CCX would hold 8 cores, so that's essentially a single CCD. And diving further into the core structure of the Zen 3 CCX, since the CCD has moved to just 1 CCX, the entire L3 cache can now be shared across all 8 cores rather than each CCX consisting of 2 slides of L3 caches per CCX in the previous Zen cores. Now, what the hell does this mean? Well, it seems like, according to this leak at least, 32 MB of L3 cache per CCX would be the absolute limit for what what's possible on Zen 3, and this information goes against the previous suggested and leaked information and presentation of Zen 3, which hinted at the possibility of more than 32 megabytes of L3 cache. Anyway, the most interesting bit in this whole leak is that it's mentioned that Zen 3 would feature an IPC uplift of 10 to 15% on a single thread, and this is about the same IPC bump as we saw with Zen 2. And there's a pretty interesting comment to all of this posted by PsychoB. Anyway, in terms of platform and socket, 4th Gen Ryzen is expected to be released alongside motherboards with the new 600 series chipset, and the motherboard featuring these will most likely be called X670. If a budget-friendly B series motherboard makes it out to the 600 lineup remains to be seen, but it has more or less already been confirmed that Zen 3 and 4th Gen Ryzen will maintain full compatibility with the AM4 socket, and this means that you're gonna be able to pick up a brand new Ryzen CPU and give your existing AM4 gaming rig whole new life without having to worry about upgrading any other PC part. And the only thing you need to do is to make sure you got the BIOS update that enables 4th Gen Ryzen support, and motherboard vendors should release these new BIOS updates shortly before or right after launch, and I think I had to wait 1 or 2 weeks before Asus dropped the BIOS for my older X370. Anyway, Ryzen 4000 is believed to be the last generation to use the AM4 socket, and going forward AMD is expected to move to AM5 with Zen 4, and this will take the manufacturing process to 5nm, and this will be the first gen processors to support the DD5 memory standard, and 4th Gen Ryzen is expected to be released in 2021. Nevertheless, so far AMD has confirmed that Zen 3 brings a brand new CPU architecture which will deliver significant IPC gains, faster clocks and even higher core count than before, as some rumors have pointed for a 17 increase in IPC and 50% increase in Zen 3 floating point operations alongside a major cache redesign. But as we have learned today, the increase might be a bit lower. Still, 4th Gen Ryzen impresses me a ton, and I cannot wait to share more details in upcoming weeks ahead as we get to learn more about 4th Gen Ryzen. Are you excited for 4th Gen Ryzen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Watch either of these two videos and I will catch you guys in the next one. I want to thank you so much for sticking around this long, and I will see you guys in the next one.